Hello everyone. Today's conversation is for people, uh, those who are doing well outside, but feel something is missing inside. So, this is not about fixing success. So, it's about understanding the experience that comes with it. So, you don't need to take notes, just listen and notice that what resonates with you. So let us start today's session. So what happens? Many people reach a point in life where things look settled and career is moving and responsibilities are being well handled also. But others might even admire where they are, and yet internally there is a quiet question. So why doesn't this feel as fulfilling as I thought it would? So this question often creates a guilt. People think I should not feel this way. Others have less and seem happy. But this feeling is far more common than we realize. So psychological studies on achievement that show that external success gives a temporary emotional lift. It's not a lasting one. And the human brain adapts very quickly to achievements. And what feels exciting at first, a promotion, a recognition, reaching a goal, slowly becomes the new normal. And this happens because the nervous system is designed to seek stability, not permanent excitement. And psychologically, this is called the adaptation, if you remember, right? So what happens? The brain registers achievement, gives a temporary sense of reward, and then it recalibrates. So what happens? The the emotional high fades, not because the achievement lost value, but because the system has adjusted to it. That's why something you worked so hard for can feel surprisingly ordinary after some time, maybe few days, maybe few weeks, and maybe few after months. And this is important to understand. So this feeling is not ingratitude, and it does not mean you are unappropriate or unappreciative or always you want more. It simply means your nervous system is functioning normally. And this is very, very normal. So the problem starts when we integrate this adaptation as a personal flaw. So that's our main mistake. It's not a personal flaw. So we think, why am I not happy ever now? And but nothing is wrong in that. That feeling comes. The system is just doing what it's designed to do. So that is normal. And returning to emotional baseline, that is our system is made for. And fulfillment, which you call, therefore, it does not come from repeating the achievements. When you go on repeating achievements, that does not mean that fulfillment will come. But from integrating the meaning, what mean the act we do, and the emotional connection alongside them. If they go hand in hand, so there is the real fulfillment is there, right? So what happens here, sometimes many of us might have realized from childhood, most of us were taught one equation: you do well, then you succeed, then you feel happy. But this equation is incomplete. Success primarily meets the external needs, and it gives us security. That means knowing we are financially safe, then stable, and not constantly worried. It gives validation, recognition, approval, appreciation from others, and it also gives us a status, a position in society, a sense of being seen and respected, and it also gives structure, routines, roles, responsibilities, a sense of order. All of these which I told now are important. These are nothing wrong, and there is nothing wrong in wanting those also or achieving them also. But there is a part, there is a part where we were rarely taught, and that part is fulfillment. And fulfillment comes from internal needs, and fulfillment grows when our life, it feels meaningful, when what we do that connects the something deeper inside than the outcomes, that connects with the our inner self. And outcomes are there. If there is a connection is there, so fulfillment starts growing inside. And it grows when emotions, our emotions, are expressed rather than suppressed. And when we are allowed to feel tired, suppose you are feeling tired, we should accept that, yes, I am tired. And confused, suppose somebody is confused of something, then he or she needs to acknowledge that, yes, I am confused, this emotion, I am excited, I am unsure. So these acceptance of the awareness of the emotions should be without judgment, without judging ourselves. And fulfillment also comes from self connection, knowing who we are beyond our roles, beyond our titles, and beyond our expectations. And from authenticity, when our outer life reflects our inner values, what is going on our outside surrounding, what I am doing, and my inner values. If that authentic connection is there, so that is not just what's rewarded or expected I'm talking. When these internal needs are ignored, suppose success may continue externally, but something inside starts feeling hollow. And people then say things like, I have everything I wanted, but I don't feel complete. So that emptiness is not a failure of success. Success is there. Success has not failed. Success is success. But it's a signal that the inner world, our inner world, has been left out of the equation. That I told the equation, right? In the beginning, that equation was there. So that equation is distorted. This is not all about doing well, success, and then feeling happy. So that real happiness is there when our outer success connects with the real inner self. So that's what. And one more thing I want to discuss here, one of the most overlooked reasons actually, when success feels empty, there is something we can call the identity gap. And the identity gap that appears when our external life has moved forward, but your inner identity has not fully caught up. We have missed our inner self. So you are doing more, you are achieving more also, and becoming more also. But internally, you are still operating from an older version of yourself. There is no newness is there. You have not found your true self. Psychology and our adult development research show that fulfillment depends not just on achievement, but on self-congruence. Means parallelly, those success and achievements should go with our self desire, or maybe our self instinct, what you say, and what we are born for. And how we align our life that fills with who you believe you are. And when life changes faster than identity, then discomfort appears. Who are you? What is your identity? If that is going in this pace, and the external world or the your life externally moves like this speed, so there is a mismatch. They are not moving in congruency or parallelly. The speed differs, so there is a discomfort. You will feel discomfort, you will feel that discomfort inside, and you will always feel you are missing something, right? So these are the few things that we'll discuss here. So studies in adult development and identity psychology, there is identity psychology, so that shows us we humans don't automatically update the sense of self just because the circumstances improve. So identity evolves through reflection, integration, and meaning. What meaning you are giving to your life, not through the achievement alone. So when growth happens only on the outside, the inner system struggle to recognize itself, and that mismatch creates quite tension there inside. So let me give some practical examples. Imagine someone who becomes a manager after years of hard work. Then externally, they now have authority, responsibility, respect, but internally, they may still feel like junior person trying to prove themselves always. The gap that is there, they are the senior manager, but they are feeling low. They are always trying to prove themselves. So this is a gap creating. So this gap that creates anxiety, overworking, and people pleasing nature, or a constant fear of being found out. Or think of someone, this is one example. Another example, think of someone who has built a financial security from outside, okay, and life feels settled, but inside they still operate from scarcity. So scarcity is a feeling, actually scarcity never present. It's a feeling that though you are achieving all success, but feeling scarce, like you don't have anything, constantly worried, unable to relax, and always preparing for loss, that will be lost, let me prepare. My financial will be lost, that let me prepare for that. Life will be lost, so let me prepare for that. So they are always preparing for loss. So the achievement has happened, but the identity has not integrated yet. So you can think of identity gap like wearing clothes. Very simple example, very relatable daily life example, you can relate it. So wearing clothes that no longer fit who you are, even if they look impressive to others, they may look perfect on outside, but they feel uncomfortable to you all day long. Agreed? So that discomfort is not visible, but you feel it constantly. So that is what our life looks like. It's like we are wearing something that looks beautiful from outside to the people, and that increases our status, but as that dress doesn't fit me, I am feeling uncomfortable from inside, but I am not showing it outside. And when people this feel this inner mismatch, so they usually respond in one of the two ways. They either push harder, hoping the next achievement will finally bring alignment, or they numb the discomfort, staying busy, distracted, or emotionally distant. But neither solves the identity gap. So, neither the pushing harder part or this numb the discomfort or avoid the discomfort by different activity is solving their identity gap. Because why? The gap does not need more success, it needs integration. Gap means this is uh, one part of the land, and this is one part of the land, and in between river is there. So how that two lands will be connected together, how we are going from this land mass to that land mass through a bridge. So that connection is needed. So that is identity gap. And identity gap does not mean something is wrong. It means growth has occurred faster than reflection. Growth has occurred, but we have not reflected ourselves. And reflection is not weakness. If you are reflecting yourself, so that is not weakness, please. Right? And so it's how the inner self, our inner self, catches up with outer life. So to avoiding that weakness. But that is really not weakness. Our weakness is we are not reflecting. Let us reflect on every day, so that we can find ourselves, our inner self, our true self, and you will feel the real happiness. And why this matters for fulfillment, I'm talking about. When identity and life, identity means my identity, and life, what is going on outside, they begin to align with each other, people don't necessarily do less. I'm not talking about to do less, don't compete, not that, but they feel less conflicted doing it. When there is an alignment between our inner self and what is there going on in our life, if that alignment is there, you will definitely feel less conflicted. No conflict will be there between our outer life and inner life. So these efforts that we are putting, they are feeling like less forced feeling. No more force will be there. And decisions, those are feeling calmer, more calm. And success starts feeling lived, not just achieved, right? And it can be felt only after done. And when this inner alignment is missing, what happens? People often don't slow down. They chase the next goal. That's what we will explore now. So what is happening? Correct? So when emptiness or discomfort appears after success, most people don't slow down, right? So what happens? They set the next goal immediately and take on more responsibility, because with that much hard work, I have not achieved that, so let me do more, do more. So they speed up and they set next goal, take on more responsibility, and fill their time with activities, activities, activities. It is not because they are greedy or restless, but it is because pausing for them feels unsafe. And our nerve system is not trained to interpret discomfort as a information. So it interprets it as a problem that must be escaped, because the brain is always in a survival mode, right? So there is a escape happening inside our system. So research in the behavioral psychology that shows humans are wired to move away from the internal discomfort. Wherever we feel discomfort internally, just we move away. Our brain, our system will tell us to kindly escape from there, silently escape from there. You might have feel in different activities. When something feels unclear, heavy, or emotionally confusing, the brain looks for distraction or action, right? And action gives a sense of control. When you take action, you get a sense of control. And when you pause, it removes distraction. And that exposes the unresolved feeling which are there inside. So the system chooses movement over meaning. Our system always chooses take action, move, rather finding the real meaning behind that. Pausing, removing the distraction, find the meaning and take action. So the action will be sustainable one. But our brain avoids that, right? It's easygoing kind of thing. So this is why someone finishes one major goal and immediately asks, what's next? It's not from excitement, but from discomfort with stillness. Achieve something, be with that for some time, feel that, how you have achieved that, those feeling, nerves feeling, emotions feeling, sharing, everything, your efforts. You should pause, feel, and enjoy every bit moment, so that that achievement will sustain for long, right? But what we do, we ask immediately, what next? After getting a managerial post, either senior manager. After getting a senior managerial post, CEO. So this moves. What next? What next? And this is not for excitement, but from discomfort with stillness. And why someone feels uneasy during holidays or weekends? Have you realized that? If it's a holiday, if it's a weekend, you're feeling uneasy, even though they were waiting for it, waiting for the break. You are waiting for the break. You are waiting for the uh, holiday, but still you are feeling uneasy. So how pity is that? We are waiting for something, but we are avoiding that. We are worried for that, and that comfort disappears. Because when the structure of the work disappears, because every day we are waiting, working, so that structure of work disappears, unresolved emotions, they surface out during the break, during the holidays. So staying busy then becomes a way to avoid those. So we don't listen to our emotions, we don't listen to our internal voice, rather we make ourselves again busy, we stay busy and we avoid that. We avoid listening to our emotions, right? You listen to the external world, external noise, the noise of the world, but there is nobody to listen, neither you also not listening to your inner voice. So your inner voice, your emotions, your feelings are unaddressed, unnoticed. And dear friends, productivity, what I say, is often celebrated. But sometimes productivity is not growth. It's a distraction. It's in numbers. Not all busyness is purposeful, right? For many high performing people, staying busy becomes a way to avoid questions like, these are going inside actually. These are very unnoticed things. What they think, what am I actually feeling, right? So they are avoiding when they are busy. Most of us, we are doing when we are busy, we avoid the question, these questions that I'm telling now. What am I actually feeling? This question is avoided. Is this life aligned with me? So this is also avoided. And what do I need right now? Avoided. We don't ask. So there are not easy questions actually. So the system choose activity instead. So these questions, though feel easy, these questions will change our life, change the meaning that we are giving to our life. What am I actually feeling? Is this life aligned with me? What do I need right now? And these are not easy questions, my dear friends. These questions are very heavy questions. And these questions, when you sit alone and ask yourself, then it will help you align with your inner self, true inner self, and it will take you towards the fulfillment. So there is a pattern that continues. The problem is chasing more that works temporarily. New goals create dopamine, okay, and movement creates momentum, that's also okay, but the underlying discomfort which is there, that does not disappear. It simply waits there inside till you address it. And over time, that unaddressed underlying discomfort leads to emotional numbness, sudden burnout, loss of meaning, and midlife confusion. And it's not because people failed, but because they never passed to integrate. And pausing, when you pause, take a pause in life, take a pause sometime for yourself. It is not the opposite of progress, it's the part of progress. And where meaning is created, you create a meaning for your life. When reflection is avoided, when you avoid reflecting yourself, your inner self, success keeps increasing, but satisfaction does not. Satisfaction doesn't increase at all. And when we never pause, that emotional needs stay unacknowledged. And that's what we will explore next. Emotional acknowledgement, right? And when people chase success for a long time, something subtle often happens. Chasing success every time, long time. So that emotional needs doesn't disappear actually. They get postponed. The emotional needs are postponed. Many people learn early in life that many of us, we have learned early in our life that emotions slow down, sensitivity makes you vulnerable, rest must be earned, strength means not needing help. So these beliefs are rarely taught directly. So they are absorbed through experience, the school system, workplaces, family expectations, and social rewards. So this happens, right? But research in psychology shows that emotions that are not acknowledged do not dissolve. They remain active in the nervous system. And when emotions are ignored or suppressed, the brain stays in a low level alert state. So this uses energy. And when the brain stays in low level alert state, that uses energy. Over time, this creates, so that energy has been depleted actually, and over time that creates emotional fatigue, irritability, loss of enthusiasm, and difficulty feeling fulfilled. That is the main thing. And it is not because something is wrong, but because the system is overloaded, because emotions are not addressed, and it is going on piling up above and above one emotion, then another emotion, then another emotion. You are not addressing, you are not dissolving it. So emotional overload will be there. And that emotional acknowledgement does not mean over analyzing the feelings or getting stuck in emotions. It's not that. It simply means noticing what is present, allowing it to exist, not judging it. For example, saying it, I am tired, instead of I should not feel tired. Right? I am tired is acknowledgement. But I should not feel tired, that is not acknowledgement. You are resisting that. So this success feels empty. Rather, saying something is wrong with me. So which is a better version of saying to yourself? This success feels empty. Rather saying something is wrong with me. So that's not correct way. So this shift, small shift in questioning, I am tired, or accepting I am tired, the success feels empty. So I am acknowledging something. So that acknowledgement, it shifts. This small shift, it sounds very small, but neurologically it's very, very powerful. It can change your whole neural system. So our brain research shows that when emotions are named and acknowledged, the emotional centers of the brain, they calm down. Just please remember this: when emotions are named or acknowledged, the emotional centers in the brain are calmed down. So this reduces internal conflicts. Energy that was used to suppress becomes available for clarity and engagement. So energy is available now. By suppressing, you are depleting the energy. That's why people often feel relief even before anything externally changes. Externally, many things are changing, but they feel relieved. So this is why someone can take a vacation and still feel restless, right? So that is what. But emotional load was never acknowledged. Or why someone can reach a goal and immediately feel flat. The achievement happened, but the emotional journey was never processed. Those emotions in the past were as there, lying underneath our uh, internally or inner self, unacknowledged. And when without acknowledgement, success keeps moving forward, but the inner world remains unheard. We are not hearing to our inner world. And when emotions are acknowledged, what will happen? So these big things or good things will happen. Motivation becomes more stable. Decision making feels calmer. People stop blaming themselves, and energy returns gradually. Fulfillment does not come from forcing the positivity. When we force positivity, fulfillment doesn't come. It comes from allowing honesty, right? And emotional acknowledgement, it's a big thing actually. Emotional acknowledgement is not, it's indulgence. It's not indulgence. It is emotional hygiene. Like every hygiene carries high value and purifies us. So emotional hygiene, the main part is emotional acknowledgement. So just like the body needs our rest, the emotional system inside that needs recognition. Without recognition of the emotional system, even success starts feeling loud and empty. Success will be loud but empty, like empty vessel. You can move naturally to the next, uh, emotional acknowledgement, right? In the next, uh, when you go from this session, you can sit with you and you can think of this maybe tonight. And once emotions are acknowledged, a gentle shift becomes possible. And that's what we will explore next. So after awareness and emotional acknowledgement, something important becomes possible. What is that? That's a gentle shift. This shift is not dramatic. It does not come from forcing the change. You don't need to force the change, the external world. It comes from understanding what is actually needed. So when people feel stuck, when people feel unfulfilled, or when people feel restless, then the instinct is to ask what they ask normally when they feel like this: what should I do next? Then they take more effort, then they do better planning, then they keep up new habits. But if emotional load is still present inside, the action taken from this place feels very, very heavy, right? And people what they say then, they say, I know what to do, but I can't do it consistently. So this is what people say. And one research in self-regulation and behavioral psychology shows the brain functions best when it feels safe. And when emotional pressure is high, the nervous system prioritizes the protection over progress, because when our brain feels safe, it functions the best. So it always finds a safe place. So when nervous system, what our nervous system prioritizes, it prioritizes protection or safety over progress. So in that state, motivation becomes unstable actually, right? And action feels forced. When we take some actions, that feels forced action. So this is why our insight before action creates more sustainable change than willpower alone, right? So insight before action, that creates more sustainable change than willpower. So a gentle shift, what is the gentle shift I talked about? The gentle shift means changing the question, not the effort. So just change some questions, because questions change your life. You can ask good questions, quality questions to yourself, and even to others also. When you ask quality questions, so they will be thoughtful and they will pause for some time and answer. Anything else, you ask question to yourself, what should I do next? Don't ask that. Rather, how is this one? See, you ask, what part of me has not been acknowledged yet? So this question does not demand your answer immediately, right? But it initiates or it invites honesty, because what part of me have not been acknowledged yet? So you have to think of this. You have to take a pause with this. Otherwise, you cannot answer this properly. And honesty, if you are honest, then honesty reduces internal resistance, right? And imagine someone who keeps changing the jobs. One example, this one. Someone who keeps changing the jobs and helping the next role will finally feel right, he thinks, right? So the gentle shift is not another job, right? It's the acknowledging, I am emotionally exhausted from proving myself, or someone who keeps enrolling in courses trying to feel confident. The shift is not more learning. The shift is it's recognizing I don't trust myself yet. When these truths are acknowledged, if these truths are acknowledged, then behavior naturally changes actually. And without forcing, there will be no force will be there. And our brain studies show that when internal conflict reduces, cognitive flexibility increases. And it's in simple terms, when we stop fighting with ourselves, our mind becomes clearer, and then clarity makes the action easier. Not because we are opposed, but because resistance dropped. Because our outer life wants something, inner life, real purpose wants something. If there is a conflict, then that achievement, that success will be not that sustainable. But if the conflict reduces, then definitely the cognitive flexibility will increase, and the fighting, inner fighting, that will reduce and resistance dropped. So once the gentle shift happens, this gentle shift happens, decisions that feel less rushed, efforts feel lighter, and people stop oscillating between motivation and guilt, and action becomes more natural. That is main important actually. Action should be natural. And this is why awareness often feels like progress, even before visible change. There may not be a visible change, but you will feel like that awareness is progress. And if progress is not there, that you will feel definitely stagnant. And when once you feel stagnant, then that will lead to confusion actually. And what happens? Sustainable change does not begin when you demand more from yourself. Rather, the sustainable change begins when you understand yourself better. And the gentle shift is not about doing less forever. I'm not talking about that. It's about doing the right thing from the right internal place and with the right pace. And when this shift happens, fulfillment begins to feel quieter but more stable. So that's what we will explore the next. So when fulfill really looks like, that is beyond success I'm talking about, this fulfillment is often misunderstood actually. Many people expect this fulfillment to feel like excitement, constant happiness, or a permanent sense of satisfaction. But fulfillment is much quieter than success. It does not announce itself loudly. It settles very slowly, because success creates visible results. What normal world, outside world sees, others see. People expect fulfillment to do the same also, right? But fulfillment is not an emotional high. It's an emotional steadiness. Success asks, how far have I gone? But fulfillment asks, how aligned do I feel while going there? Just realize it. Success asks, how far have I gone? But fulfillment asks, how aligned do I feel while going there? So research in well-being psychology shows that long-term fulfillment is strongly linked to internal coherence, value alignment also, and emotional self-acceptance, not to constant pleasure of achievement. People who report feeling fulfilled do not necessarily have fewer problems. They have problems. Everybody has problems. But what the fulfilled people, they experience less internal conflict, because their internal resistance has been dropped. So fulfillment shows up as, when fulfillment occurs, that shows up in some remarkable or markers like thing. What are they? Fewer inner arguments with yourself. Inner argument will be reduced, and less urgency to prove something. You don't feel urgency to prove something, and you will feel more comfort with your own pace, and your decisions that feel calmer, but your decisions are not rushed, and your ability to pause without guilt will be developed. So you may still work hard, that is going on, but these things you will feel, but the work feels chosen, not not forced. You are choosing the work to do, not forced to do. So that's what fulfillment, a feel of fulfillment is. Think of someone who used to overthink every decision. Somebody is overthinking every decisions, right? So what happens when fulfillment grows? They still think, but they don't spiral, right? Or someone who constantly compared themselves to others. Fulfillment does not remove ambition, but comparison loses its grip. There where fulfillment comes, the comparison loses its grip, but it does not remove your ambition. Or someone who kept changing the goals, hoping the next one would not finally feel right. So when that person will get fulfilled feeling, they may still grow, but from clarity, not resistance. Sorry. So what neuroscience says, so neuroscience show that when internal conflict reduces, the nervous system stays regulated longer. So nervous regulation will be there. A regulated system, when the nervous system gets regulated, so that regulated system does not need constant stimulation to feel okay. So this is the good part, and this is why the fulfillment really feels calm. It's not dramatic, and it is the nervous system which say, I'm not at war with myself right now. So how uh, peaceful is this? Sorry. And motivation fluctuates, but fulfillment stabilizes. So this is where I am comparing the motivation and fulfillment. Motivation can fluctuate, but fulfillment stabilizes. Motivation depends on mood and energy, and fulfillment depends on alignment. When fulfillment grows, motivation becomes less fragile. Like motivation up, then after 2 3 days down. Again, you will listen to some affirmations and some motivational speakers, your motivation goes up. It's like an excitement. But when motivation becomes completely aligned with the fulfillment, then it is less fragile. And because effort is no longer fueled by pressure, there is no pressure because you are fulfilled from inside. And fulfillment is not about reaching a point where you stop wanting more. You want more. It's about wanting more, but without losing yourself in the process. It's not louder success, it's quieter confidence. And this kind of fulfillment is not just emotionally comforting, it's protective in the long run, right? So that is why this matters in the long run. And when internal signals are consistently ignored, so people often keep functioning, but at cost. So what happens? So let me tell again. So this one, when internal signals are consistently ignored, people often keep functioning, but at a cost. They have to pay cost. Over time, this shows up as that cost shows up as different problems like the chronic fatigue that does not resolve with rest. Even if you take rest, also that fatigue doesn't go. Emotional numbness or detachment will be there. Sudden loss of interest in things that once mattered. So you don't put more interest on that. Irritability without clear reason. No reason, but you are irritated. And midlife confusion also will be there. So that feels like out of nowhere. So these don't appear overnight. They accumulate slowly. These are the costs that you are paying. And when effort continues without integration, you are going on effort, putting effort, but no integration will be there. So research in stress psychology and physiology in long-term well-being shows that when the nervous system stays in a prolonged state of pressure, when you put pressure for longer duration to the nervous system, the body and mind eventually adapt, not by becoming stronger, but by becoming less sensitive. So that's the problem. And this is why people often say, I don't feel much anymore. So feeling reduces. And that numbness is not the strength. It is the system protecting itself from overload, because our brain is always in a protective mode, survival mode, right? Our nervous system is in a protective mode. When awareness comes first, the nervous system gets moments of safety. Moments of safety. When emotions are acknowledged, you are acknowledging your emotions. The system does not have to stay alert because you are acknowledging those. And when action follows regulation, effort becomes sustainable. Emotions acknowledged, then you are regulated that emotion, and then you are taking action. So the effort that you are taking, they are sustainable. So awareness, regulation, action. So this sequence protects you from long-term exhaustion. So please remember this sequence, that is awareness, regulation, action, then action. So that's what. As we come to the close of the session today, I want to leave you with something important. Nothing we spoke about is meant to make you change faster. It's meant to help you understand yourself more honestly. If success has felt confusing, if motivation has felt inconsistent, if fulfillment has felt quieter than expected, please remember this. These are not signs that something is wrong with you. They are signs that your inner world is asking to be included. Growth does not always mean moving forward. Sometimes it means pausing, listening, and recalibrating how you are and how you move. You don't need a dramatic transformation overnight. You need alignment. Alignment between what you do and how you feel while doing it. That is important. Feeling. Be gentle with yourself as you reflect. Your awareness itself is already a progress. And when you change comes from understanding, that change comes from understanding, it does not exhaust you, it supports you. And stay connected to spaces that respect your space, respect your intelligence, and that respect your inner experience. So that's where sustainable clarity grows actually, right? So this is what. And uh, that sustainable clarity is there means you will achieve fulfillment. And if you are feel free, definitely this whole session you might have been reflecting during the session, those questions, those awareness, and those pausing moments. I'll be continuing sharing reflections like this, and you are always welcome to stay connected in whatever way you feels right for you. So thanks a lot for joining this session today. Have a nice day. Thank you all.